My 16F mother's husband thinks he's my father. I already have a dad, so I don't know why my mother's husband thinks he's my father. This man literally barges into my room and tells my boyfriend to leave. When I tell him my mom said he can stay, he says I don't care what your mother said, he's not allowed in my house. For one, it's not his house, it's my mother's, and he's only been living with us for a few months. He tells me what to wear. I wear something inappropriate, he sends me upstairs to change. Tries to make me stay in or come home at a certain time when my mother said I can stay out until 12 AM, and he constantly takes my phone and looks through it. I told this man many times you're not my father, so stop pretending to be, and he still does it. What is the point of all of this? Should I tell my mother about this? Edit, my dad is in the military, I haven't seen him in over 8 months, so living with him isn't really an option. I would also like to state that my stepdad doesn't contribute financially whatsoever. He claims he's a writer, I haven't seen him write anything. He sits at home all day bothering me. My mother works, she makes the money, not him. You need to tell your mother like yesterday, and get a lock on your bedroom door. He should not be able to barge into your room. Your privacy and comfort in your own home is first and foremost. Not just on the door, but a lock code on the phone too. Tell your mother what is happening. From personal experience, it isn't safe for a man you barely know to have access to your room and phone. Tell your dad too. Yes, you should absolutely tell your mother about this. He may have it in his mind that he has your best interest in mind, but his behavior sounds intrusive, not to mention he is undermining your mother if she says one thing and he contradicts it. You should have told her about it a long time ago. He's clearly trying to exercise some kind of authority, and it's a talk she needs to have with him. Sounds like he has some issues. Don't give him your phone. I'm not gonna say let him hit you before you give him the phone, that's not good advice. I'd probably do it, though. He has no right and needs to learn his goddamn place. Same. And stop listening to him at all. Don't change your clothes, don't send your boyfriend home, don't give him your phone. Every time he tries to tell you to do something, walk out of the room and call your mother and tell her what he is doing. I'm cutting all contact with my family. This is a lot and I'm sorry if it seems a bit scattered, but the background is important. I 28F come from a very strict African family who is really big on tradition and culture. Before a woman moves out of her family home, she is supposed to be married with approval from the elders. Growing up, I wasn't allowed to date, wasn't allowed sleepovers, extracurricular activities like sports, couldn't have friends of the opposite gender, or be friends with girls my parents didn't approve of. So as you can imagine, I had 2 friends growing up, and as an adult it's very hard for me to be genuinely social. Even those 2 friends I had, I couldn't hang out with them unless it was at my house. My parents are, in my opinion, emotionally, mentally, and sometimes physically abusive. I have a very hard time being open with people even when they have genuinely hurt me. I learned on from my parents that mental and emotional health were not important. When I would try to talk to them about something they have done that bothered me, they would tell me to get over it, or to shut up, I'm not JK here. So I kept everything inside. Fast forward to when I graduate HS, I pick a university that is as far away from home as possible. Parents wouldn't let me go to school out of state and they picked my major to study. I met my boyfriend here. A year later my parents forced me to quit the university since they changed their mind about my major, since they looked online and saw I wouldn't be making 6 figures right out of school. Who the hell does? They choose my new university and major again. Thankfully my new university was only a 20 minutes train ride from my BF place. He quit school due to financial reasons. I basically visit every chance I get, since the only time I feel free is when I'm outside the house. It feels like I'm suffocating in that house, no joke. There was a time when I snuck my BF into the house when my parents were away. I knew better, but decided to anyways. My sister told my parents and well, it didn't go well. My dad called me into the kitchen and basically beat the crap out of me, literally kicking me when I was in a fetal position and begging him to stop. stop. My mom stood around and kept yelling at me saying I deserved it, and so did my older sister. At this point in my life, I know I can't wait until marriage to move out, and I have to leave immediately. My mental health was basically shattered, and at that point my BF is really the only person I had. Tried one last time to talk to my parents, and of course they blew me off. I graduated from school and landed an okay paying job. I waited until my parents were at work, called my BF and asked him to help move me out. I didn't tell them I was doing because I knew they would physically stop me. I move in with my BF and his family. His parents are the parents I always wanted, they're just amazing. My mom calls me crying begging me to move back, and they'll tear me like an adult. Told her no because I know she's lying to me. There have been too many times where they have promised something and broken the promise the same day. For months she's been begging me to move back and to visit more often, but I refuse. When my dad found out, he called me stupid, verbatim, and I basically don't talk to him at all. I still keep trying to talk to my mom about what her and my dad put me through and what it did to me mentally and emotionally, but it seems she only cares about how it'll look to outsiders that I'm living with a man I'm not married to. My dad doesn't want to talk to me at all, and I'm okay with that because I have zero respect for that sperm donor. But it's gotten to the point where I honestly just want to cut off my entire family. They knew what was happening and how my parents are, but they all just said it's tradition. No one seems to care about my mental well-being. Every time I try to explain my decision, it always goes back to that's not how we do things in our culture, or think about how your mom feels. I feel that I need to for my own sake. You are an adult and can make your own decisions now about who you let in your life. It is no surprise that you want to distance from your parents for being abusive, physically and emotionally. Work on becoming as independent and self-sufficient as possible. Not saying you should leave your BF, but if that relationship doesn't last, you do not want to be in a position where you have no way to support yourself. Be a strong, capable woman, able to support herself no matter what. All the very best to you. I'm glad you found the strength and some support in moving out. I can empathize with you. You made the decision that was best for your mental health. Keep doing that, and don't stop, ever. You can choose to reconcile when you're ready, but put yourself first. Big hugs, op, heart, heart, heart. Your father beat you and your mother and sister cheered him on, and it's excused by everyone else because culture. You're better off never speaking to any of them again. Live your life and be free of their words and scrutiny. /just no family. /raised by narcissists. And therapy, like yesterday. Every time someone tries to excuse their behavior, just repeat child abuse is not a tradition, and even if it is, I want no part of any tradition that says love is bad, but repeatedly kicking your daughter in a rage while she's curled up on the floor, begging you to stop, is good parenting. If you find that acceptable, then I disown you too. Honestly though, it's time you started blocking their numbers. They aren't going to change. I also recommend you start some therapy to begin overcoming the damage their abuse has done. My 22M parents, 45M and 46F, could ruin me if I don't pay them. I grew up in a household where I got constantly yelled at for every little mistake I did and did not have the same privileges as others. When I turned 18, they immediately kicked me out without warning. Didn't give me any money or possessions to keep other than what I wore. I went to a local shelter and thankfully, there were kind people that took me in while I found a job and apartment. 5 years later, I now have a high salary when my mother suddenly called and said she wanted to visit me. I really didn't want to have anything further to do with them, but I thought maybe she would apologize. She arrived and explained that I would need to repay them $2 million for the living expenses and other costs of living. She said I could pay them about $10,000 a month as a repayment plan. She then further revealed she would tell everyone I knew that I sexually harassed her. Not true at all. If I don't do what she said, I'm at a loss of what to do. Edit. Thanks everyone. I got in touch with a great lawyer and he is very confident she can be charged and prosecuted for attempted blackmail and libel. lawyer up. This isn't the place you're going to find answers. You don't owe them anything based on what you said, though. Call the police. If you can get her to text you about it, you will have solid proof. 1. That it's false. 2. That it's blackmail. Call the police. Life tip: if you can afford a lawyer immediately, never go to the cops for any reason without talking to the lawyer first. Never talk to cops without a lawyer, even if you're the one reporting a crime against you. Never. Lawyer first always. This is how wealthy people stay out of legal trouble. Don't even report things to cops without your lawyer talking for you, if you have the means like Op does. Here is what you say to your mother. So, no person is going to listen to your mother telling them that you sexually harassed her? That doesn't even make any sense. Tell her that you recorded the conversation and that if she is wise, she will never darken your door again. Here is what you do. Get all of this in writing or record it. Then go to the police and report her for extortion. My security camera did record everything, but I think it's illegal to release recordings without consent. Blackmail is illegal. Demanding money with menaces is illegal. Libel is illegal. And you don't owe them a cent. Document everything. Keep texts, emails, letters, screenshots. Then see a lawyer and then the police. They can't hurt you.